Guys, welcome back to Before the First Cast with your host, Calvin Herndon. Guys, I hope you guys had a great Labor Day weekend. It was great weather. Guys, today going to look a little different. We're going to just take a few minutes and just talk to you guys about what's going on and, what's going on locally here, what's going on nationally with a lot of the trails. And we're just going to talk to each other for a little bit. So, let's first off start with a little weather check for this weekend. Here around Central Virginia, at Smith Mountain Lake. It's going to be beautiful. There's a 45 or 35% chance right now of rain on Saturday, but there's a high of 87 for most of the weekend, which is going to be beautiful for this time going into fall. Let's see. Um, so yeah, we're going to be Friday 87, Saturday 87, and Sunday 67, and the lows are going to be in the 60s. So that should be really, really nice. The water temperatures are pretty steady right now, so the fishing should be pretty good. They're starting. There's still some schooling fish at Smith Mountain Lake, is what I hear. And pretty much this time of year, you can do anything you want fishing there. Whether you want to upsize and catch those big fish, or those fish that are pretty small, you can catch them pretty much any way you want to do. Let's see, for my people that are up in the Maryland area, the Potomac River. um, your weather is looking fairly good. You know most of the 86 86 Friday, 86 Saturday, and 74 on Sunday. You got a 55% chance of rain on Saturday, a 45% chance of rain on Sunday. But overall, I feel like it to be a good weekend to go fishing for you guys as well. I was actually coming back from Maryland this past Labor Day weekend, and I got to pass over the Potomac River. I never realized how big that river was until I actually went over the bridge, and I know it's much larger than what it is on the what just you see on the bridge. Um, but I was just thinking about how would I navigate fishing this big river system. Like I just don't know how I would go about doing that. But that's just kind of some thoughts I had on the road trip. Yeah, I've always wanted to fish the Potomac. I never actually got the chance to fish it. So that's one of my bucket lists. The Potomac and the James. I really want to fish and try to figure out some of the tidal fisheries because I've never fished a tidal water before. Um, but getting off my soapbox, let's talk about some local bass fishing news. Congratulations to Brody Lucky for winning I believe it was the Super Tournament on the James for the Phoenix Bass Fishing League for MLF. He's been on a tear here lately, guys. This 2025 season, he has 4 wins. That's pretty incredible. And if you haven't listened to the interview that Brian with the basscast.com did with him, definitely go listen to it. He gives you a lot of information. He's a really, really smart angler. It goes way, way beyond, you know, what most people think bass fishing is. He breaks it down into like time on the water. You need to know what's under the water instead of just what's above the surface, which a lot of anglers miss. That is, if you don't know what's under the water, how are you going to be able to successfully fish? Um, Not knowing your layout of the lake. But again, congratulations to him. He's got a few more tournaments for this year, so I hope he is able to definitely pull out some more victories. Let's go to some national news. The big one that came out this week was the limitation on forward-facing sonar for the Bassmaster Elites in 2026. Hopefully next week I'll have a guest on that maybe could talk about that a little bit and his feelings towards it. Um, I'll give you my 2 cents. I mean, that don't mean much because I'm not really an elite pro. So my 2 cents would be, I think this is a strategic move for Bass, to try to get some more anglers or satisfy more anglers, and kind of level the playing field. Now, it will be interesting to see which which tournaments they allow them to use it and which tournaments they won't, um, allow them to use it. What I think it does is it honestly levels the playing field, um, because yeah, I believe the sport is growing and it's evolving every day. And there's just some anglers that just can't keep up or just aren't really wanting to do it, or wanting to keep up with it. Um, but I think it'll benefit one. I think it'll benefit the ratings. Two, I think it will allow the anglers to feel like they're on this same playing field. Um, and three, I think the competitiveness will come back in the elites. I mean, it's already there, but I feel like the older guys feel like they're getting beat out by the younger guys because maybe they don't need their or know their forward facing as well as they should. But it'll just bring. I think it'll even it out. I'm just really curious to see which events they can use it on and which events they can't. Um, Flipping over to the MLF side, or Major League Fishing, they have just released their Toyota Series schedule, um, which very interesting. I know there's a lot of stuff that's going on over there with payouts and restructuring and stuff like that. I don't know all the details, so I can't go into that. But I'd just like to go over the schedule with you guys and kind of get my take on if I think it's going to be like what I think about them. So let me pull up the schedule real fast. Um, but yeah, it lots changing. A lot is changing in the sport of bass fishing. Um, let me get it up real fast if I can find it. Let's see. Oh, shout out to the Basscast on the line. If you guys do not or are not subscribed to On the Line, the monthly newsletter that goes out from the Basscast.com, I would hope that you would be um, subscribe to it and read it. It's really good. Um, it's like, can't even find it. I will find it for you guys here in a minute. All right, here it is. So for the Central Division, for the Toyota Series, you February 18th to the 20th, you will have Lake Gunnersville. March 31st to April 2nd, you will have Pickwick. And then May 13th to the 15th, you'll have Lake Eufaula in Alabama. And then the Northern Division, June 25th to the 27th, you have the Potomac River. July 30th to August 1st, you have the St. Lawrence River. And then August 27th to the 29th, you have Lake Champlain. In the Plains Division, March 10th through the 12th, you have the Lake of the Ozarks. April 9th through the 11th, you have Kentucky Lake. Um, June 18th through the 20th, you have Lake Darnell. Um, and then for the Southern Division, January 29th to the 31st, you have Lake Okeechobee. March 4th through the 6th, you have Kissimmee Chain of Lakes. April 30th through the May 2nd, you have Lake Seminole. And then Southwestern region, you have February 12th to the 14th, Sam Rayburn Reservoir. March 26th to the 28th, you have Grand Lake, which is a good one. June 11th to the 13th, you have the Arkansas River. And then for the Toyota Series Championship, it'll be at Pickwick on November 5th to the 7th, which is awesome. Um, so I'm curious, guys, what do you think of that schedule? Personally, the Northern Division looks strong. I kind of wish they would go away from the St. Lawrence River and the uh, Lake Champlain. I feel like yes, they're great lakes and a great river. I just feel like it just gets people see those on the schedule and they're like, "Oh, these again." Like, I mean, it's kind of like your southern chain of lakes. Like you got Lake Okeechobee, you got Lake Kissimmee, like you have all those Florida lakes. I feel like I don't know. Some of my Florida guys, how do you guys feel about them continuously being on schedules? And maybe I'm just a little, I don't know, and I know it benefits a lot of people that are from there. But I know the reason they're on there is because they one bring really big crowds, two they have really big fishing, and I get that. But I would just want to see something different. That's just in my opinion. As a viewer, as a potential angler, I would just want to see it mixed up. I mean, they did have some interesting ones there on the schedule that I mentioned. The Arkansas River, that would be a fun one. Um, there's a few that I've never even heard of, but I think MLF is they need to mix it up a little bit. I'm gonna be honest, but that that is the MLF schedule, or Toyota Series schedule for MLF. Um, so I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit today before I go about my thoughts on the Bassmaster EQs and the Bassmaster. Oh, why can't I think of what I'm trying to say? Opens. I taught, as you guys know, I had Andrew Binky on last week. He is a Bassmaster Opens angler. He is a EQs qualifier now. Um, and I talked to him a little bit about, just what his thoughts were on, you know, of the EQs and the changes that have come. Um, but some of my thoughts, I really like the format of breaking the tournaments up. Um, so the EQs will be in the fall, and you take the top 50 guys from each division, because you want the best of the best to fish alongside you. So if you take the top 50 out of each division and open some of the slots up for some of the guys that didn't make the Elite Series this year, or are on the bubble to make the Elite Series this year, you're bringing in that competition that is it's going to be fierce. It's going to be a dog eat dog. So you have to bring your A game every minute, every second, every hour of a tournament and of the season. Now, another thing I like is you win and you're in. Like Laker Howe won on Leech Lake. He will be in the Bassmaster Classic in 2026. Um, I like that format. I think it speaks to, you put the work, you put the time, you found something that other people didn't, and you were able to win the tournament. So that will give you the opportunity to um, grow as an angler. Um, some things I don't like would be, you know, I personally, and I know I'm going to get a lot of flack from this, so I'm going to be careful how I say it. The elites, I think, should have to go through the opens and then qualify for the elite or EQs. I feel like and again, all this is my opinion. I feel like for those guys who have worked all season long in the opens and, you know, make that top 50 cut of either division, and for an you know for an elite just to be able to slide into the EQs, it doesn't seem fair to me. Um, and I know there's going to be different opinions on this, but I just don't feel like for those guys who worked really, really hard to get to that top 50 for the points, and then you just have this guy that's like, oh, I didn't do so well in this season, so let me go down to the EQs and try to requalify. That just doesn't. I don't know. It just doesn't sit well with me. But I know there's a reason behind it. I've heard Hank Weldon on the Bassmaster radio talk about it. I get the logistics side of it. I just think in my head, I just don't understand it, and maybe that's not for me to understand. But I just wish it was a little different. Like they would have to go to the opens next year to requalify for the elites, but I don't make the rules, so that's just what happens. Um, that's really the only thing I really don't like about this system. I think it definitely strengthens you as an angler. It gives you different um, places to use different strengths or weaknesses, or gives you opportunities to build on maybe techniques you're not completely 100% sound on. But no, I think there's a lot of advantages to the EQs and the opens. Um, but just that minor, I wouldn't even say it's a bad thing, but something I would like to understand more. But yeah, overall, I think it's a great series, great competitive series. But yeah, so guys, I hope this podcast is interesting as I think it was. You got a little bit of my opinions, you got a little bit of news, you got a little bit of everything. Um, but next week, I hope you come back to listen and view the podcast because I have a very special guest. I'm not going to reveal who it is just yet, but he has a lot to do with the anglers in the Elite Series. And I hope that you guys come back so I can reveal who it is. But guys, have a great weekend. Be safe on the water. Always wear your life jacket, and always have tight lines and heavy nets. We'll see y'all next week. Bye.